I don't really have a problem with having enough memory or charging enough batteries for my camera to shoot videos when I travel. But as I found out the day before, Prague has so many landmarks or points of interest to see. So just in case, I made sure I had enough of both, because today we're going to pass through a lot of popular landmarks and buildings while we cross the Charles Bridge going to Prague Castle. So first landmark is the new City Hall right there. The new City Hall of Prague is the central administrative building of the city located here at the Old Town. This building was built in 1911 as a tax and financial office, but eventually it ended up as the City Hall since 1945. It seats the Prague City Council, the City Assembly, and the Mayor of Prague. What I found interesting reading about this building is the elevator or lifts inside it, called the Paternoster lifts. It's an elevator with a compartment designed for only 2 people, which rotates in a loop going up and down, kinda like a conveyor belt but standing up. Anyway, the new City Hall is situated on this square called the Virgin Mary Square. We're kind of late, a little bit late today. We're gonna go to the castle, but before we do that, we're gonna go to, or we're gonna have to find a place to have breakfast first. But I think we're gonna cross Charles Bridge and then find a place to have breakfast. So we're gonna head that way. But that's where the mayor's office is, City Hall. Forgot to mention, it's actually right next to our hotel. The City Hall is really right next to our hotel. It's that one. That's our hotel. Yeah. We're actually not gonna go to Charles Bridge yet. I just found out we have a few more landmarks to go. So let's see. I'm not sure if this building is significant, but walking around Old Town Prague is something you should definitely do if you're here. It seems like every turn you make, you'll see some kind of famous building or landmark. No matter where you turn, it looks nice. It's like all cobblestones. It's like I don't know, it's like in the movie, like, you know. That's Prague. This place right here is the Clementarium. It's actually a library, or the National Library of Prague. And right in front of me, right here, this is supposed to be the Mirror Church. It also says Clementarium, so I'm not sure. But anyway, so the landmarks I was talking about is called the Clementinum, which is a huge complex of buildings used as a library, I think. And the other one is called the Mirror Chapel, which is used as a concert hall. I don't know what happened, but we had a hard time finding our way around this place. And because of that, we didn't want to waste our time anymore. So we decided to come back some other time and headed to Charles Bridge instead. That red building you see there on the left is called the House of the Golden Snake. It houses a restaurant serving traditional Czech cuisine, but is famously known to have the very first cafe in Prague. Anyway, that building straight ahead is called the Cathedral of St. Clement. It's a church dating back to the 18th century. I read that the interior is really beautiful and it's worth the visit, but we had other plans, so we ended up just passing by it. Plus, I think it was still closed anyway. So there's a whole bunch of like landmarks from this road all the way down. But right behind me is Charles Bridge, which is really a big landmark here we're gonna go to. There's a chapel here called the Holy something. I'll just say what it is. But I guess we're supposed to have breakfast here in this road. But we're gonna just go straight to Charles Bridge right now and find some restaurants over there to have breakfast. This street heading to Charles Bridge had a lot of cafes and restaurants we could have had breakfast at, but we weren't really hungry yet, and to be honest, I was really excited to cross the bridge more than anything, because I stupidly missed it during my first visit here. So this is the Holy Savior Church right here, and right in front of it is St. Francis's, I forgot what it was, but I think it's a chapel too. They have so many churches here, and what I noticed is that they turned their churches into like concert halls. This place is amazing. Look, there's so much people here too. And right here is Charles Bridge. We're gonna cross it right now. When I first came here, I totally missed this bridge, but I'm not gonna miss it today. This area right here is called the Knights of the Cross Square. It's a very popular tourist spot because it's lined up with historical buildings such as the churches I mentioned, and it's where you'll find the entrance to the bridge, going through the Old Town Bridge Tower you see right here. This tower was constructed in 1357 and is considered to be one of the greatest Gothic towers in Europe. Anyway, right next to the tower is a statue of King Charles IV. See, Charles IV was the king of Bohemia during his golden age. He was highly regarded and loved by the people during his reign, and to this day, they still consider him as the father of the country. This is the statue of King Charles, which stands in front of the Charles Bridge. But that view, I want to check that out because that's going to be really nice. Obviously, this bridge was named after King Charles IV, built in 1357 during his reign. It was originally called the Stone Bridge or Prague Bridge until 1870, and it used to be the only connection between the city's old town and the Prague Castle. Yeah, that's Charles Bridge right there. And we're gonna cross it all the way to the castle. We're gonna go right there to the castle. I forgot what this is called, this lake. That lake, as I put it, is called the Vltava River. So the Charles Bridge replaced this bridge called the Old Judith Bridge, built in 1158. It's 1,693 feet long and 33 feet wide. Along the sides of the bridge are 30 statues or sculptures placed there sometime in the 1700s, but the statues you see here today are all replicas. I think the original sculptures are in a museum somewhere. Anyway, it is said that King Charles laid the first stone of the bridge exactly at 5:31 a.m. on July 9th, 1357, as the king believed the numerical significance of the date and time will strengthen the bridge. So construction started exactly at that time across the Vltava River. The Vltava River, commonly referred to as the Czech National River, is the longest river within the Czech Republic. It's about 267 miles long, which is, as you can see, runs through the city of Prague. This river is crossed by 18 bridges, including of course the Charles Bridge. So going back to the bridge, throughout its history it suffered many disasters such as floods in 1432 and 1784. More significantly, it's gone through many historical events from wars and revolutions, such as the execution of 27 anti-Habsburg leaders in 1621, where they displayed their severed heads here to stop people from revolting, and also the time when Sweden advanced into the Old Town at the end of the 30 Years' War in 1648. It's on this bridge where the heaviest fighting took place, severely damaging the Old Town Bridge Tower and most of the Gothic statues along its sides, which basically led to its removal and replaced with replicas. In short, this bridge went through a lot, but amazingly it still stands today, which makes you think about King Charles's numerical belief, right? Well, throughout the years, repairs and constructions on the bridge took place, but many experts criticized the reconstructions as many replacement stones did not match the original ones, and the extensive amount of the replacement stones weren't even positioned properly. Anyway, despite all of that, the Charles Bridge is still the most famous site in Prague, attracting millions of visitors all over the world. Today you'll see a lot of vendors selling pictures and souvenirs across the bridge, and from time to time you'll find performers playing music here too. I wasn't really expecting to see vendors and performers here. To be honest, it kinda ruined the vibe for me a bit. I mean, I understand it's the perfect place to make some money, but I wish they did it somewhere else. But still, the history and its significance to the city is so important, it's just amazing. So that's called the, I don't know if you can see it, it's the Lesser Tower Bridge. It's actually called the Lesser Town Bridge Tower. It's two towers with different styles and height connecting by a Gothic gate. It's located at the end of Charles Bridge, which is the entrance to the town called Lesser. The smaller tower is called Judith Tower, which dates back to the 12th century. Most likely it's the original tower of the Old Judith Bridge I was talking about. And the taller bridge tower, on the other hand, was built in 1464. We're gonna go in there. It's really crazy over there. There's a lot of people. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in there too. But this is it. This is Charles Bridge. I finally crossed it and I'm happy. We'll probably cross this again tonight, so, because they said it looks really nice here at night. Okay, from the Lesser Town Bridge, we're not gonna go straight in there because we're gonna go there, but we're gonna go down here first. Right here, this street, because we're gonna go to the narrowest street in Prague, or in the world, I guess. It actually looks nice to go in there. I went there before, but there's really nothing. Well, I wouldn't say there's nothing there. That area is called the Lesser Town, which we'll go there later because there's actually a lot of things to see in that town, especially the St. Nicholas Church you see right in the middle. We're gonna go to that church later, but like I said, we're gonna go down here. We're gonna go down here to the narrowest street. So the narrowest street is right there where all those people are. We're gonna go down there now. What time does it open? Oh my god. Alright, so this is the narrowest street. It kind of sucks, man. Why is it closed? It's a freaking street. So it goes down here. That's the street, and then there's a stoplight right there. It says they're open at 11:30. Oh, you know what? Let's have lunch or like breakfast, and then we'll come back to this. We'll have breakfast here somewhere. I'm pissed. It's freaking closed. Right next to the narrowest street, which is right there. This is a statue called the Peeing statue. Also here is Franz Kafka Museum. I know there's a few restaurants here. We'll see if we can find something to eat for breakfast before we go to the narrowest street. This statue is called the Piss. As you can see, it's a fountain with mechanical statues of two men standing opposite one another, urinating. Aside from the subject matter of the artwork, the most interesting thing about this fountain is that the statue piece quotes on the water. You can even text your own message by dialing the phone number displayed nearby and have your statues write your message on the water. Anyway, right behind the fountain is the Franz Kafka Museum. It's peeing a lot. It's never-ending pee. People are putting coins in there too. Just around the corner from the fountain, I remember this spot on the riverbank full of ducks and swans with a nice view of the Charles Bridge. I've been here a few years ago and I thought I'd check it out to see if it's still the same. These guys are big, man. I don't know if you've seen a swan this close, but this guy is huge. Look at him, he's coming towards me. I hope he doesn't peck me. Oh my god. Okay, let's go down here. Some of them are tagged, and some they don't have tags. These are swans, right?
Yeah, and ugly penguins.
Yeah, they're still ugly. They're gonna turn into that eventually.
Oh my gosh, there's one making a heart.
This place is a perfect view of the Charles Bridge. If you go down here, if these guys won't bite me. Ooh, pretty close. Oh my god. Oh my god. Actually, there's a lot of crap here. There's a lot of poop. But Charles Bridge is right here. Look at that. It's beautiful. I've got to say this spot is still the same as it was 4 years ago, but I noticed there's more swans here now than before. Anyway, we hung out here for a bit before going to this restaurant, which is located up the street from the riverbank. Just right close to the swans, where the swans are, this restaurant. They're open right now, so let's see, we have no choice really but to eat here. We're the first customers here. There's nobody here. And this restaurant is pretty amazing. I just hope the food is good here, and I hope they can find us because they just asked us to look for a table and we ended up in here. I don't know if they know we're here though. Okay, I'm gonna try the beef steak with pepper sauce. How's that for breakfast? She's having that. The Lieutenant Dubos wings. And I'll probably order some steak fries too. Or I hope it comes with steak fries. But I think I'm going to order a beer today. Breakfast beer.
Beer for breakfast.
That bread looks really good. I know I've mentioned this before that condiments on the table, including the bread, are all charged to your bill. Now, I'm not sure if all restaurants are like that here in Prague, but so far for us, all of them do. Anyway, they call this beef steak with pepper sauce. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is filet mignon. You know, it's funny when I read beefsteak on the menu, I was thinking it's going to be like this dish in the Philippines called beef steak. It's strips of beef sauteed in soy sauce with onions and pepper. Well, this one is actually filet mignon for sure. If you didn't know, filet mignon is part of a tenderloin of a cow. Although it's the most tender and the most expensive cut of beef, it's actually not the most flavorful. Well, that's because it doesn't have a lot of fat. If I was to choose what kind of cut I want for my steak, I would probably pick the ribeye. As for her, she got what they call Lieutenant Dubois grilled chicken wings, drenched with sweet chili sauce on top of potato chips. You know, I've read that chicken wings was invented by accident in a bar in Buffalo, New York, sometime in 1964. It's said that the owner made a mistake by ordering a shipment of wings and didn't know what to do with them. They thought of making chicken stock out of it, but it was just too much. So one night, they decided to fry a batch as a snack. The owner loved them so much that they started serving them to their customers. Well, the rest was history after that. Alright. It's a good thing there's no music here, but let's see the steak. I had this medium. See what it looks like. Alright. Oh man, all the blood is still coming out. It's a little tough. Oh man. I guess it is medium. It is medium, see? It's about right. We'll see. I wish it was bigger though. I was thinking beef steak would be like strips of beef, you know, with like onions, like the Filipino ones. But I guess their steak is like this. Their beef steak. It's actually a steak. How's your chicken? Is it good? Alright, first bite. There's a lot of pepper on this. I'm gonna avoid the pepper. The sauce, man. The sauce here is amazing. First thing that hit me was this sauce. Really good. If you just avoid all this like little peppers, it'll be fine.
It is peppercorn.
Yeah, the pepper. I had a peppercorn steak. Oh, look, the blood is like mixing on the sauce. I had a peppercorn steak in the Philippines. Man, that was like pure pepper. I have that on one of my videos, by the way. This is not bad. It's really good. I can just open my mouth a little bit.
Everything okay?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Try the fries. Fries, try it. Nice and crispy on the outside. Soft on the inside, it's really good. How's chicken wing?
Okay.
Just cut me a little piece. I'll cut you this. Just cut me about like this much. I'm gonna try her chicken. Oh man, give me a whole chicken.
That's half a chicken.
Here.
But you have to try it with the chips that it came.
Okay. Let me try the chips first. It's actually potato chips. Oh man, the sauce is very good. Wow. That sauce is amazing. The sauce on this chicken is amazing. The only way to eat it, put it all in your mouth. Perfect, try it. Make sure to roll it around the sauce. There we go. Yep. Good. They're good, huh? This place is not bad. It's good. It's just that they need a little bit more. But if they had a bigger size portion, man, this is really good. I ate the peppercorn.
How is it?
It's really not bad.
Spicy?
No, it's not as spicy as the Filipino one. The Philippine peppercorn it's just too much. This is not bad. It's a little bit more. 100 crown is about equivalent to about $5 or 4 something. So this is like $18 something, maybe 20. A little too expensive for the portion, but I don't have a limit. Whatever I see that looks good, I buy it. I have to try it. Anyway, so after this, we're gonna go back to the narrowest street because we're supposed to be the narrowest street already, but it was closed. I'll try the bread. Not bad.
The steak was okay, but the sauce is just something else. It's thick and savory. It was really good. Same as the grilled chicken wings, the sauce was amazing as well. I think it would have been better though if they would have fried it.
Alright, so this is the narrowest street and it's green, so we can go. Oh, it's stopped now. Alright, that's green. So let's go.
The narrowest street of Prague is located here in the Malastrana neighborhood close to the Charles Bridge. It's somewhere between 20 to 30 inches wide and about 33 feet in length. I'm not sure if it's officially a street, but it connects this street to the Sertovka restaurant down below. The street is so narrow, it's almost impossible for two people to pass through it at the same time. And in fact, I've read that some lady got stuck here and they had to use soap to push her free. Anyway, since the street became such a popular tourist attraction, they installed traffic lights on both ends of the street, so people won't end up getting stuck in the middle. If you're wondering, this is not the narrowest street in the world. That street is actually somewhere in Germany.
There's gonna be a nice view right here. Okay, the people stopped me from going in there because there's a really nice view of the bridge from this cafe. I guess the guy just stopped me here. But anyway, if you go down there, there's the view of the bridge. Looks really nice.
I wanted to film the view, but the waiter didn't let me, so I guess this will do. I took this picture a few years ago during my first visit here. As you can see, the restaurant is right at the end of the river, facing an amazing view of the Charles Bridge. You know, if only this restaurant was open earlier, we would have had breakfast here.
Alright, this is the narrowest street and we're gonna go up again. It says stop. You have to hit this button. No, it says go. Alright, let's do it. And this is what you'll see once you get out of the narrowest street. From the narrowest street in Prague, we're here at Vojin Park. And of course, I'm not pronouncing that right because it's hard to pronounce words here. But it's a small park. Nice park though.
Vojin Park is named after a famous Czech actor, and it's one of the oldest parks here in Prague. The park is not that big, but there are two very old chapels located inside this place.
It's actually nice, huh? It's like small. We just want to see it. We just passed through it and we're gonna go to our next stop. This is the bridge that we walked by, me and Robert, me and my friend back then. It's called the Mainz Bridge. And right in front of it is this is where we're gonna go to. It's just a memorial for the second resistance movement. Right there. It's funny how I was here like 4 years ago. It's much better now because I get to take it in a lot more than before because we only had a day back then. I'm actually taking the whole city in right now. So this is the monument for the second resistance, it says, but I don't know, it's just really a stop for us because we're gonna head that way anyway. We just thought of just checking it out.
The memorial of the second resistant movement, or the resistant flag movement, is dedicated to the second movement resisting the Nazi occupation in 1938 to 1945. The sculpture is of the flag of the Czech Republic, made by Vladimir Preklik, who was a Czech writer and sculptor. On the monument is an inscription that says, "Stay a moment in respect for the victims and winners of the second resistance of the Czech nation for liberty of the homeland."
So right here is the Wallenstein Garden. I'm pronouncing it correctly. And then the Wallenstein Palace is over here too, right here. I believe it's that one. This garden is... I'm gonna talk about this garden. It's not that big, but it's... Oh, let's check it out.
The Wallenstein Garden is obviously part of the Wallenstein Palace. The garden was built probably the same time as the palace, which was between 1623 to 1630. Its Italian-style design is divided into several parts, complete with an artificial pond and sculptures of mythological figures and gods, such as Neptune,
garden.
Apollo, Venus, and Hercules.
Gethsemane. Dude, there's a bird right there. He's just chilling. See him? We're just gonna check this out real quick and then check out the palace. I think I'm almost 100% sure this is the palace. This whole thing is the palace and this is their garden.
The Wallenstein Palace used to be the residence of Alfred von Wallenstein, or Wallenstein. He was a supreme Bohemian commander who fought during the 30 Years' War in 1618, fighting on the Catholic side. He fought many wars and won many victories fighting against the Protestants, which eventually made him one of the richest and powerful men during his time. But at the end, he was assassinated by the orders of the emperor, who he ironically served. Anyway, the palace interior is decorated with frescoes, paintings, and furnishings with jewels and precious metals. And the whole complex includes sculptures, gardens, a large riding school, and a chapel. Wallenstein pretty much built all this to rival the Prague Castle. Well, today the palace is used by the Senate of the Czech Republic.
Oh, they have fishes in here.
Aside from the exotic birds and free-roaming peacocks around this garden, there are many different kinds of fish inside this pond, like that orange carp close to the wall. It's also home to wild ducks and other types of birds.
That is like not your regular bird. I thought it was like it's like one of those royal birds as a crown. Oh my god. Ooh. Oh, for this little baby. Look at them. We want food. So I'm guessing this is the front part of the Wallenstein Palace. It's really nice. It's pretty big. I don't know if it's a museum or not, but we're not really gonna stay. We just want to come here and see it because we're gonna go right up there. See that? That's the palace. Or that's the castle.
I believe you can book a tour inside this palace, but aside from it being used for the Senate of the Czech Republic, it's also a venue for concerts, cultural events, and performances, which probably happens right there inside the Sala Terrena. This thing is really impressive. It's about 100 feet high, decorated with stucco and frescoes depicting scenes from the Greek mythology. It really felt big standing in the middle of this, and the fact that it was built in 1627 made me wonder about its history and the people that lived here. I mean, what did they do with this area, right? Well, I've read somewhere that Wallenstein probably had breakfast here looking at the garden. Actually, you know, the sad part of it all is that he really didn't enjoy this palace because he was murdered by the order of the Emperor Ferdinand II just 4 years after the palace was built.
It's really nice.
After staying a few minutes here, we passed by a few churches heading to Prague Castle.
Let's go.
This is the St. Thomas Church. It's an Augustinian church rebuilt in the 1720s. This church is known for its Baroque architecture as well as some paintings from famous European artists. I've read that the interior is worth seeing, but like I said, we just happened to pass by it.
There's a lot of churches here in Prague, which is pretty amazing, but especially when they're not even like Catholic.
They were Catholic.
I think they were Catholic or Protestant before. But now, according to our tour guide yesterday, they were like atheists, so... anyway, we're gonna go to another church, which is around the corner.
Just up the street from the St. Thomas Church is the St. Nicholas Church. Like I said on my previous video, there are two St. Nicholas churches here in Prague, which is the one we saw at the Old Town Square, and this one located here in Lesser Town. This church was built in 1755. It's also known for its Baroque architecture, but this one is regarded as the most valuable one. I've read that the interior and its dome are all decorated with frescoes, and also inside the church, you'll find a unique organ with 4,000 pipes that was once played by Mozart himself.
Right up here is the St. Nicholas Church. Yeah? We're gonna go inside and just check it out. It's St. Nick's Church, St. Nicholas Church. Let's see what's inside.
I don't think this was the main entrance of the church. It looks more like the entrance to the tower. Anyway, there is a fee for only about $4 to see the church, but we couldn't decide whether to take the tour today or come back some other time.
Let me see if we're gonna go. We decided not to go inside the church because we're still gonna go see another church, which is a really better, it's actually a bigger one. It's big as my zit right there, shit. But yeah, it's right inside the castle.
It's funny, my brother jokes with me about skipping tours inside some places I visit on my videos. I mean, it's true, some of them are overpriced, some are not that interesting, and some are just not that popular. You know, if I'm going to be honest, I would love to explore every landmark I visit on my travels, but finding time is the real reason why I skip them. Well, it's slightly the budget too, but it's mostly the time. See, I normally stay about 3 to 4 days in each city I visit, which means I have to be very efficient in managing my time exploring each place. I definitely take a tour inside major landmarks, but the less major ones I just view from outside. Well, not unless we have time, then we'll go. You know, if only I can stay a month here in Prague, I would surely make separate videos on each and every landmark in this city.
This is the Nerudova, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, Nerudova Street. And if we walk all the way up, it's actually an incline. It just leads all the way to the castle. But right here is it's a landmark. It's the House of the Three Fiddlers. I think that's what it is.
It's actually called the House of the Three Fiddles. It used to be a Gothic building dating back to the Middle Ages until it was destroyed by fire. It was rebuilt in Renaissance style in the 17th century and Baroque style in the 18th century. Anyway, its popularity stems from the three family of violin makers that once owned this place, and legend says that on a quiet night, a violin can be heard playing throughout the street, which is called Nerudova. Being one of the most interesting and famous streets in Prague, it runs straight to Prague Castle lined up with historical buildings on each side. This street was named after a famous Czech writer and poet named Jan Neruda, who once lived along this street. Anyway, as it was formerly part of the royal route heading to Prague Castle, we decided to take this street all the way up to the castle.
It's really steep going up here. It's quite a hike, kind of. But we're getting close. We're almost there. So this is the National Gallery in Prague. It's located here at the very, kind of like the top part of the Nerudova Street. I forgot what it is, but the street is right down there. We're not gonna go to the gallery, of course, because we're gonna go straight to the castle, which is located all the way up the steps. Okay, so I'm really getting tired from walking all the way down there. We're not even at the castle yet. It's actually getting hot, so I might need to take off. I already took off my jacket. I'm gonna take off my sweater soon. Just resting a little bit. We made it, so we're gonna go inside the castle and see if we can take a tour inside the castle.